What makes a hero?
Is it dedicating 40 years of your life to fighting an empire for your people's freedom? Or is it making a deal with the devil to save them? This is the story of Queen Nzinga, a warrior, a diplomat, a legend. But her greatest battle was not fought with swords. It was waged within her own conscience. She faced a choice that could save her kingdom, but stain her name forever. Her name was Nzinga Mbande. Born around 1583 in the kingdom of Ndongo, in what is now Angola, she entered the world at a time of chaos. The Portuguese Empire, driven by greed for the transatlantic slave trade, was carving its way down the African coast. Ndongo stood in their path, a proud and powerful kingdom, but one surrounded by storms. Legend tells that Nzinga's birth was marked by prophecy. The midwives whispered she would grow to be a great ruler. Her father, Ngola believed it. He brought her into war councils and diplomatic meetings, teaching her strategy, politics, and the art of survival. Nzinga learned to wield both the spear and the word. She understood that power wasn't just about the battlefield, it was about perception, presence, and the ability to bend others to your will. But the throne she might have inherited would not come easily. When her father died, the crown did not go to Nzinga. Instead, her brother Ngola Mbande seized power. Consumed by paranoia, he saw threats everywhere, even within his own family. What happened next remains one of the most brutal moments in her life. Historical accounts say he ordered the execution of her young son and had Nzinga and her sisters sterilized. It was an act of cruelty, designed to ensure she could never produce an heir to challenge him. Heartbroken and hunted, Nzinga fled into exile. From the shadows, she watched her brother's rule crumble. The Portuguese pushed deeper into Ndongo, taking captives, burning villages, and installing puppet leaders. The suffering was unimaginable. Her homeland, once strong and defiant, was collapsing. She was a queen with no crown, a leader with no people. But the fire inside her never went out. In 1622, desperation forced her brother to do the unthinkable. He asked for her help. Ndongo was losing the war. The Portuguese were closing in. So, he sent Nzinga as his envoy to Luanda to negotiate with the Portuguese governor, João Correia de Sousa. This was her chance, not just to save her people, but to prove she could stand toe-to-toe with the empire threatening to swallow them whole. When she entered the governor's chamber, she immediately saw the insult. One chair for the governor, none for her. She was expected to sit on the floor like a supplicant. But Nzinga was not about to kneel. She motioned to a servant, who dropped to her hands and knees, becoming a living throne. Nzinga sat tall, looking the governor straight in the eye. The message was clear. Ndongo bows to no one. Speaking fluent Portuguese, she demanded the Portuguese withdraw their forts and recognize Ndongo's sovereignty. To sweeten the deal, and perhaps to buy time, she agreed to be baptized, taking the Christian name Dona Ana de Sousa. A treaty was signed, but peace was a mirage. The Portuguese broke the agreement almost immediately. 2 years later, her brother died. Some whispered suicide. Others believed Nzinga herself had removed the final obstacle to the throne. In 1624, she became queen, and she was ready for war. If you're drawn to stories that history tried to bury, stories of power, betrayal, and impossible choices, then subscribe to Silent Dynasties. These are the histories they don't teach you in school. Taking the title of Ngola, traditionally reserved for men, Nzinga declared herself ruler. The Portuguese refused to recognize her, installing a puppet king in Ndongo. But Nzinga was not broken. She relocated east, seizing the neighboring kingdom of Matamba. A land with a tradition of powerful female leaders, Matamba became her fortress. From here, she waged a relentless guerrilla war. For decades, she struck Portuguese settlements, ambushed supply lines, and freed captives. She welcomed escaped slaves and defectors from Portuguese forces, offering them freedom and land in exchange for loyalty. In 1641, the Dutch arrived, eager to undermine Portugal. Nzinga seized the moment. She forged an alliance, combining her forces with theirs to capture the coastal city of Luanda. For a brief, shining moment, it looked as though the Portuguese grip might be broken forever. But fighting an empire required resources, weapons, food, allies. And here lies the most controversial part of her legacy. To keep her war machine running, Nzinga participated in the very system she despised, the slave trade. From Matamba, she captured prisoners from rival tribes and sold them, often through her Dutch allies, into the transatlantic trade. While her kingdom remained a sanctuary for runaway slaves, she also profited from the same brutal commerce that was tearing Africa apart. Was this betrayal, or was it ruthless pragmatism, sacrificing some to save the many? It is this moral shadow that makes her story so complex. She was both liberator and dealer, hero and opportunist. Even after the Dutch were driven out, Nzinga fought on. In 1656, after nearly 40 years of resistance, Portugal signed a peace treaty recognizing her as the legitimate ruler of Ndongo and Matamba. In her final years, she rebuilt her kingdom, resettled freed captives, and secured her dynasty. When she died in 1663, aged around 80, she left behind an independent African state, something almost unthinkable in the age of European conquest. Today, in Angola, Queen Nzinga is revered as the mother of the nation. Her image appears on monuments and currency. To some, she is the ultimate symbol of resistance. To others, she remains a figure whose choices show that history's heroes are rarely pure. Queen Nzinga's life forces us to confront uncomfortable truths, that freedom often comes at a price, and that even the greatest leaders make compromises in the shadows. If you want more real, unfiltered history like this, subscribe to Silent Dynasties and join us as we bring you the untold stories of the world's most remarkable and controversial figures. Silent Dynasties. When history speaks, we listen.